The evil artifact, the white bone arm, was empowered and affixed to its body. Qingfeng Ming-Si removed the black robe draped over himself, and a sinister, emaciated, cold body appeared. The current Qingfeng Ming-Si could no longer be called human. His face was covered in blood-red wrinkles, and the skin was marked with glaring, evil crimson patterns that were shocking to behold. The dark, malevolent energy within him likely matched that of the extraterritorial evil clan, leaving no trace of humanity at all. Not enough energy. What's going on? From a distance, Poison Hag furrowed her brows in confusion. Based on her sensing abilities, Qingfeng Ming-Si before her was filled with a sickly and weakened aura. His entire body was desiccated, lacking any trace of life force. He resembled a living corpse, and there was a faint, terrifying presence within him. Jade Bloodhand. Empowered by the evil artifact, Qingfeng Ming-Si transformed into a beast focused only on slaughter. A vicious roar escaped his mouth, and all traces of wind-based power and humanity seemed to vanish. A mocking smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, and a thin trail of blood-red killing aura spilled from him. In the next moment, one of his arms glowed with a deep, blood-red hue. Droplets of blood-like mist, as if formed from jade, swirled around his arm. Himph! Holy flame armor! Seeing this, Xiao Yan's body was engulfed by swirling layers of glazed flames. Moments later, a brilliant fiery armor enveloped him. Die! Seeing the radiant holy flame burning on Xiao Yan's body, Qingfeng Ming-Si raised his palm. The blood jade hand shot forward, pressing toward Xiao Yan. Ryup! The dim void in the hall seemed to tremble, a sinister, blood-red light tearing through the air. Dragon God Claw! A dragon's roar reverberated from within Xiao Yan. The air trembled as the blood jade arm collided with his azure arm, interweaving in mid-air. Buzz buzz! A sharp, piercing sound filled the air. However, after Xiao Yan's strike, Qingfeng Ming-Si's face turned pale. Such a sinister fluctuation. The two retreated a step from each other. Xiao Yan's arm trembled slightly, while the attack between Dragon Godclaw and Qingfeng Ming-Si seemed evenly matched. Ming-Si summon. At this moment, Qingfeng Ming-Si finally realized the seriousness of the situation. His palm continuously twisted, and with the aid of the jade blood arm, evil handprints formed and glowed. These handprints began to trace countless sinister patterns in the void, as though summoning some ancient, evil creature. Whoosh whoosh. In the blink of an eye, the ground of the hall suddenly softened. Black flames surged up from beneath the floor. That's an evil technique. This guy is summoning an evil creature. Poison technique. Crash. From a distance, Poison Hag spoke sternly. Suddenly, 6 chains hummed, and a green mist slowly flowed from her mouth, shooting like lightning toward Qingfeng Ming-Si. The ground of the hall cracked, and the floor began to sink like a swamp. From the cracks, scarlet bubbles rose, and their sinister aura made one's scalp tingle. If this evil creature was summoned, it would likely lead to a fierce battle. Crack! As the green mist spread, the void within the entire hall twisted. It seemed that this poison fog could easily corrode even the void itself. At the same time, the poison fog slowly wrapped around Qingfeng Ming-Si's body. Though it could not kill him outright, it slowly affected his movements. The handprints closed, and the connection between the creature under the ground and Qingfeng Ming-Si seemed severed. Bastard! The summoning ritual was interrupted by the poison mist, and a crazed, vicious expression appeared on Qingfeng Ming-Si's face as he coldly roared. See you next time. As soon as his words left his mouth, spatial energy erupted from Qingfeng Ming-Si's body. His form transformed into black smoke and rushed toward the edge of the hall. Junior, don't let him escape. Poison Hag spat out a mouthful of poison mist. Her aura weakened as she turned to Xiao Yan and spoke. Don't worry, Senior. Xun'er replied with a smile, confident in Xiao Yan's abilities. Unless faced with a strong triple reincarnation stage expert, someone like Qingfeng Ming-Si was simply doomed to destruction. Where do you think you're going? Xiao Yan transformed into a shooting star, chasing after Qingfeng Mingxi. The path he took scattered glazed flames, which quickly evaporated the remaining traces of evil aura in the hall. Faint cries of anguish echoed as the flames burned away the malice. Thud. Qingfeng Mingxi moved at an incredibly fast speed. Even now, Xiao Yin lagged behind in terms of speed. But just as Qingfeng Mingxi was about to break through the hall's boundary and escape, a series of fiery light pillars shot from the edges of the hall, carrying a divine suppressing aura straight toward him. The body of Qingfeng Mingxi suddenly stiffened, and then, without any struggle, he was suppressed by several sacred flame pillars. That was the power of the heavenly demon formation. Still trying to escape? Xiao Yin once again used layers of tightly packed forces to wrap around and suppress Qingfeng Mingxi, then bound him to the ground of the grand hall, smiling faintly. Explode! Qingfeng Mingxi, decisive as always, saw that all his escape routes were sealed. His body began to expand slightly, and dark power continued to gather, clearly indicating he was preparing to self-destruct. Crack! A sound rang out as Xiao Yan's mental force nullified Qingfeng Mingxi's actions, rendering him unable to use any of his power. This was another ability of spiritual power. It could subtly influence the enemy's internal forces, preventing them from using their reincarnation power, but only against those with a very small gap in strength. It was said that the Angel clan had a terrifying power that could prevent opponents from utilizing their internal forces or martial skills in battle. Tell me what you know about the sins and the extraterritorial realms. Xiao Yin and Xun'er stood in front of Qingfeng Mingxi. They knew very little about the extraterritorial news, but it was undoubtedly the most crucial information they needed right now. Ever since returning from the Martial Mansion, Xiao Yin had felt something was amiss. The Martial Mansion was located in the extraterritorial realm, so even with the help of two demon-slaying kings, why could they come and go so easily? Even though the Martial Mansion's master was powerful, why was he able to maintain a lasting presence in the extraterritorial space? Were evil god-tier experts mere decoration? The thought sent chills down his spine. A bunch of insignificant parasites. The great thousand world will eventually be submerged in the long river of history. The entire world belongs to us, the extraterritorial beings. Qingfeng Mingxi suddenly sneered coldly, his laughter eerie and terrifying, sending chills through the air. Protected by the power of extraterritorial strongmen? Xiao Yan's powerful spiritual energy detected a faint fluctuation from Qingfeng Mingxi's body and immediately frowned. Such a fluctuation was undoubtedly the work of an evil god-tier expert from the extraterritorial evil clan. If Xiao Yin rashly used his spiritual power to probe Qingfeng Mingxi's soul, he would risk being discovered by the evil god-tier expert, and the consequences could be dire. However, the three great sin lords of the sins were extremely close to the core of the extraterritorial realm. Xiao Yin was reluctant to give up on this chance. Save me, and I have a way. From a distance, the Poison Hag slightly spoke, as if she had a method that could pry open Qingfeng Mingxi's mouth. Upon hearing this, Qingfeng Mingxi's previously cold smile instantly froze, because the Poison Hag indeed had that ability. Senior. Xiao Yin and Xun'er carefully approached the central area where the Poison Hag was imprisoned in the Grand Hall. Junior, these 6 chains are imprisoning my power. Just break them, and leave the rest to me. The last voice had clearly attracted the attention of Xiao Yin and Xun'er, prompting the Poison Hag to speak up. Xiao Yin, brother. Xun'er hesitated upon seeing this, her expression showing concern as she looked at Xiao Yin. Whether it was the Demon Realm or the Poison God Palace, both were seen as somewhat ambiguous forces in the human realm. If they rashly released the Poison Hag's restraints and something went wrong. But the power on Qingfeng Mingxi's body was too strange. If they didn't break the Poison Hag's chains, their investigation would be futile. Don't worry. Xiao Yin smiled and nodded, his body bursting into intense flames, shooting toward the 6 chains. Whoosh whoosh. Under Xiao Yan's control, the flames transformed into sharp blades, wildly wrapping around the black chains. Sacred flame power surged out, easily corroding the terrifying chains that had been tainted by evil power. Without the sacred flame, it would have taken much more time and effort. Whoosh. With a sound, the chains shattered, and the Poison Hag's body was slowly freed. These two juniors may not have much power, but they possess the sacred flame, and perhaps they have some connection with the girl I brought back. Forget it. It's better not to offend them. After breaking free from her restraints, the Poison Hag's body emitted a green poisonous mist, slowly recovering her essence. 3-tier reincarnation stage strength? Xiao smiled at the slightly eerie Poison Hag. If she made any suspicious movements, Xiao would act without hesitation. A 3-tier reincarnation stage expert was powerful, but to Xiao, though a formidable opponent, was not fatal. I am one of the 6 Poison Hags of the Poison God Palace, known by the title Poison Soul Child. After freeing herself and recovering some vitality, the Poison Hag flipped her dark, seductive hair and revealed the eerie outline of a middle-aged woman, looking at Xiao with an odd expression. 6 Poison Hags? Seeing this, Xiao confusion deepened. It's said that within the Poison God Palace, there are several branches, each with a clear division of labor. The Poison Hags are a special group who travel the world. Their purpose is to seek out those who have poisonous bodies or are skilled with poison, guiding them into the palace. They are powerful. Xun'er's beautiful eyes constantly scanned the middle-aged woman in front of her, staying on high alert. The woman exuded a powerful toxin, and even though she was merely middle-aged, her appearance and physique were drastically different from that of an ordinary person due to her cultivation of poison techniques. Beneath her somewhat eerie and sinister face, there seemed to be a faint movement of poisonous insects and toxic mist, making her appear quite unsettling. Since you are an envoy of the Poison God Palace, I have something I would like to ask, Senior, Xun'er said, her voice calm but cautious. At this reminder from Xun'er, Xiao suddenly recalled something and hurriedly spoke up. Please ask, Poison Soul Child responded with a chilling tone, all while keeping a wary eye on Xiao and Xun'er. Has Senior ever been to the Doqi continent? Xiao hesitated for a moment before finally asking, Buzz, buzz, buzz? Who are you? Poison Soul Child trembled uncontrollably upon hearing Xiao voice. She had been about to delve into her memories with Qingfeng Nether Division when she suddenly froze. The reason she had been captured by the Sin faction was because of the Doqi continent. Or rather, it was because of someone from the Doqi continent. There had been an unprecedented crisis on the Doqi continent, and by pure chance, she had discovered a woman with a poisonous constitution. She had used her powers from afar to save her. At the moment she made her move, 2 extremely terrifying fluctuations accompanied her actions. The strength of those 2 waves of power was far superior to her own. Little fairy doctor? Xiao exclaimed in shock as his gaze locked onto Poison Soul Child. We, the people of the Poison God Palace, are certainly not heartless or ungrateful. Since you saved me once, I naturally won't repay kindness with harm, Poison Soul Child said in a low, eerie voice, after some thought. As for the rest, let's deal with Qingfeng Nether Division first. Xiao brother, something's not quite right with this person. Xun'er sent a quiet message through her soul power to Xiao. Be careful. Although this person is only at the 3rd-tier reincarnation stage, her toxin is incredibly strong. Wait, what is this? I almost forgot about the Shaman Deer Violet Spirit Flame. Xun'er, if things change, hold on tight to this deer horn. The 2 exchanged a few secret gestures before approaching Qingfeng Nether Division together. Such exquisite deer horns. Each of them held a deer horn in their hands. Immediately, a gentle purifying power spread from the horns. With this power, even the sinister aura couldn't get close to them. Ula Gulu. Poison Soul Child walked up to Qingfeng Nether Division, and before the latter could speak, green toxic mist swirled around him, accompanied by ancient incantations. The mist surrounded Qingfeng Nether Division and slowly began probing into the deepest recesses of his memory. This was a special toxin technique of the Poison God Palace, using the power of venom to infiltrate the human body and extract information. Although it was sinister and cruel, it was highly effective against these extraterritorial evil clans. Boom. After a while, Qingfeng Nether Division fell silent. A hazy image seemed to appear above his head. It was the memory that lay deepest within his mind, the very thing he feared the most. The image slowly cleared, revealing a brief and blurry scene. In the scene, Qingfeng Nether Division and a man in white stood atop a cliff. Qingfeng Nether Division, you will take Poison Hag to the demon realm and accuse the Poison God Palace, preparing for the upcoming full-scale attack. The man in white said, his face obscured by a mist. I will be involved in the plan of the Palace of the Great Thousand. Once their plan is set in motion, I will personally sound the attack horn. Yes, Your Majesty, Qingfeng Nether Division replied. The brief conversation ended, but for some reason, the man's head was completely surrounded by white mist, obscuring his true face. That is, the demon-slaying order of the demon-slaying king? Just as Xiao Yin felt something strange, he noticed a box, identical to the one from the Marshall Mansion, slowly appearing behind the man in white. Ah, ah, ah. The sound of miserable screams echoed as countless blood-red flames erupted from Qingfeng Nether Division's body, gradually melting both his mind and body. In the blink of an eye, the man was reduced to a pool of blood before their eyes. His breath and soul power completely vanished, leaving nothing behind. At the same time, outside the palace, loud, discordant noises could be heard. Someone has broken into the Sin Nest. Kill them. Meanwhile, the heavenly demon formation outside the palace erupted with dazzling waves of power, clashing against some incredibly powerful force. Damn it, another Sin faction member. That guy's strength is definitely not something we can handle right now. Let's go. Poison Soul Child glared fiercely at the void before her hand, wrapped in green toxic mist, tore the air apart. The eerie voice echoed, and immediately, the three figures dashed into the dark void, heading towards the demon realm. However, the fleeting image that appeared left an indelible mark in Xiao Yan's heart. The demon realm, a land historically plagued by endless strife. Here, the law of the jungle, survival of the fittest, was exemplified to its extreme. Even in the vast expanse of the Great Thousand Worlds, no domain embraced this brutal law as much as the demon realm. Within the demon realm, whether it was the various factions, demon beasts, or ordinary folk, the air was thick with the demonic energy unique to this realm. Though different from the evil aura of the extraterritorial evil clan, it was equally repulsive and was shunned by the many creatures of the Great Thousand Worlds. To be blunt, the inhabitants of the demon realm held a deep hostility towards outsiders from the Great Thousand Worlds. However, powerful figures like the Poison Hag from the Poison God Palace, who roamed between realms, did not share such prejudices. Time passed slowly, and after a day of travel, Xiao Yin and his companions successfully entered the demon realm. The dark nether soldiers disappeared after returning to my palm, leaving no trace. It seems those nether worms were absorbed by him in the end? Xiao Yin mused to himself. Suddenly, the surroundings opened up, and the endless void split open, revealing a dim, dawning light. The three of them descended swiftly and entered the demon realm. The rift in the light closed, and waves of thick, oppressive gas hit Xiao Yin and Xun'er. The strange aura was eerily similar to that of the extraterritorial evil clan. So thick with demonic energy, Xiao Yin muttered as he and Xun'er exchanged a glance. The crimson demonic mist in the air seemed almost solid, and their sacred flames automatically transformed into a holy fire, enveloping them for protection. This viscous demonic energy, if absorbed for too long, could easily erode one's mind, turning them into true demonic corpses. This is the demon realm. It's different from your human realm. You should restrain your sacred flame. Otherwise, you'll attract unnecessary trouble. The Poison Hag spoke, her power still waning, but her eyes fixed on Xiao Yin and Xun'er. She couldn't help but offer a warning. After a brief pause, she scanned her surroundings, seemingly to confirm their location. After all, space passages couldn't guarantee precise destination points, and their arrival here was purely by chance. Boom, boom, boom. The trio stood on a vast sea, where waves of crimson demonic energy and violent tides constantly clashed, creating a terrifying scene. Senior, can we talk about that woman named Little Fairy Doctor now? Xiao Yin asked, his voice cold as he and Xun'er flanked the Poison Hag, watching her warily. If Xiao Yin hadn't sensed a faint aura of little fairy doctor from this woman, he wouldn't have spared her a second glance. "You're indeed connected to that girl," the poison soul child grinned at Xiao Yan's words. As for Xun'er, she understood Xiao Yan's nature. Whether it was Yun, little fairy doctor, or Ziyin, Xiao Yin would never abandon any of them. But now, her strength was on par with Xiao Yan's, and she would walk this road with him. That girl has a poisonous body and has cultivated poison pills. She is a rare talent in our poison god palace. At the time, I rescued her from the lower dimension, intending to bring her back to the demon realm's demon god palace. However, we were ambushed by the Sin clan along the way, and we were separated in the chaos. The place where we were separated is too blurry in my memory. I can't recall it clearly. The poison soul child's eyes flickered, and she spoke with a hint of regret in her voice. What she said was true. After all, with her current power, she couldn't resist Xiao Yin and Xun'er. Now, her main priority was to find that girl. Damn it, Xiao Yin growled in frustration. The lead he had finally gained had now disappeared without a trace. This should be the Burial Demon River. If we can find the Lord of Burial Demon River, we may have a chance, the poison soul child said after a moment of thought. The Lord of Burial Demon River has a strange demonic technique that can track and locate things. After a brief pause, she turned to Xiao Yin, suggesting that they focus on finding the girl first, no matter where her loyalty might lie. Boom, boom, boom. Xiao Yin clenched his fists tightly upon hearing this, a surge of immense power radiating from him, causing the rolling Burial Demon River below to fall eerily silent, as if a massive force was slowly condensing. Heh. Who dares to trespass into my demon realm territory? A voice echoed, and the water of the Burial Demon River began to churn violently. In the next instant, several green blood-colored rays shot out, quickly surrounding the three of them. It's the people of Burial Demon River. They were looking for the Lord of Burial Demon River. If they got entangled with these troublesome foes, it would probably take quite some time. The poison soul child moved at incredible speed, turning into a green streak that darted across the top of Burial Demon River. However, it abruptly stopped moving after a short while and suddenly raised its head, staring at the several bloody demonic auras in front. The demonic aura slowly took shape, materializing into several powerful figures from the demon realm surrounding Xiao Yin and the others. Their bodies radiated an ominous demonic energy that made the heart uneasy. The Grand General under the Lord of Burial Demon River, the Demon Axe General. The poison soul child's gaze shifted continuously, filled with fear as it locked onto the figure. Peak of the second-tier reincarnation stage, huh? Xiao Yin nodded lightly, then took a step forward. Before them, the powerful figures from Burial Demon River gathered. The leader was a burly man, his strong muscles covered with streaks of blood-red demonic aura, making him appear especially terrifying. He held an oddly shaped blood-colored axe in his hand and coldly fixed his gaze on Xiao Yin. Human blood is truly delicious. It's been a long time since I've tasted human blood. The Demon Axe General gazed greedily at Xiao Yin and Xun'er, the mockery and greed unmasked on his face. The people from the demon realm mostly practiced demonic arts, and human blood had an irresistible allure to them, especially the blood of foreign humans. Boom. After the Demon Axe General spoke, the blood-colored axe in his hand began to swirl, producing a deafening thunderous sound, causing the poisoned soul child, who was already having second thoughts, to jump slightly. A look of deep concern appeared in its eyes. The strong warriors of Burial Demon River could use the natural terrain to deal with enemies. Even during the peak of the poisoned soul child's power, it wouldn't have been an easy task to handle this person, which was why it had previously hesitated. I'll say this only once. Xiao Yin stretched out his hand, which gently clasped Xun'er's hand. The immense power of reincarnation formed a beautiful figure in the air. The image that appeared was graceful and enchanting, drenched in green poison mist. It was unmistakably the appearance of the little fairy doctor. Isn't this the woman captured by the Lord? Who exactly is this person? At this moment, Countless questions flooded the Demon Axe General's mind. Humph. You dare intrude into my burial demon river territory and act so rudely. I'll make sure you perish here. Upon thinking for a moment, the Demon Axe General snorted coldly. After all, this human at the first-tier reincarnation stage was like a child in his hands. There was no way he could be a match for him. If you speak truthfully, I might spare you. Otherwise, Xiao Yan's expression darkened, his tone cold and indifferent. At this point, he no longer had the luxury of wasting time. Every passing moment increased the danger the little fairy doctor was in. Shameless boast. Today, you'll experience the power of a demon realm expert. Take my axe. The Demon Axe General laughed heartily, and the blood-red axe in his hand surged with demonic aura. With a powerful swing, he sent the axe hurtling toward Xiao Yan. The blood-red axe light tore through the silent void, heading straight for Xiao Yan's vital points. The attack was so fierce that it seemed even stronger than many human experts. This guy. Xiao Yan furrowed his brow, his Do core churning as fire attribute energy coalesced into a flame blade, roaring toward the blood-colored axe beam. Even though Xiao Yan had restrained his sacred flame power, his fire attribute strength was still far superior to that of ordinary experts. Boom! The two terrifying attacks clashed above the river, creating massive crimson waves. However, anyone with a discerning eye could tell that this was merely a simple exchange of probing attacks. Such formidable fire attribute power. The Demon Axe General muttered coldly, but doubt began to arise in his heart regarding Xiao Yan's strength at the first-tier reincarnation stage. This overwhelming fire attribute power was so terrifying that even some genuine second-tier reincarnation stage experts would struggle to compare. The two attacks suddenly collapsed. Xiao Yan's body was enveloped in fiery red reincarnation power, transforming into a fiery spirit, directly charging at the Demon Axe General. The Demon Axe General, a battle-hardened veteran, narrowed his eyes as he saw Xiao Yan's formidable offensive. His feet rooted in the void, and his body stood firm like a mountain. This guy was clearly preparing to take Xiao Yan's attack head-on. Whoosh! A massive sound, like an explosion, reverberated as flames burst from the Demon Axe General's body. Pieces of fire scattered like lotus leaves, showing incredible strength. Wherever they landed, the demonic aura retreated, and even the Demon Axe General sensed an eerie, heart-racing fluctuation. The Axe of Demonic Desire. The Demon Axe General was forced back by the attack, and the red waves rippled across his blood-colored axe. His entire body was enveloped by a strange, bloody aura as he hacked toward Xiao Yan. The blood axe seemed to contain other powers. Upon merely touching the flames surrounding Xiao Yan, it quickly broke through the fire defense, as if entering an uninhabited space, and aimed for his vital points. Soul power. A massive ripple of soul energy spread out, and the fierce strike of the demonic axe general was instantly shattered. Thunder. Fire. Thunder Fire King of Hell. After a brief moment, Xiao Yan remained unfazed, slowly muttering, and silver-gray lightning began to surge from his skin, accompanied by waves of searing flames that rapidly raised the temperature above the river. Seeing Xiao Yan easily dismantle his demonic desire axe, the demonic axe general's body radiated waves of blood-colored energy. Bloody, sinister aura spread out like liquid, and his body morphed into a mist of blood. The blood mist spread out, and soon it began to swirl with the bloody liquid. An eerie and ominous aura, filled with immense demonic energy, formed a special demonic energy field more than 100 feet wide above the burial demon river. The strange energy created massive waves within the river. Thunderfire King of Hell, annihilate. Xiao Yan merely smiled faintly, raising his hand. The power of lightning and flames began to flicker and pulse, subtly converging into an incredibly tiny glowing dot, beating fiercely like a heartbeat. Above the burial demon river, a terrifying battle unfolded. Flames and thunder fell like rain over the dark river, while the blood mist and liquid of the demonic axe general were gradually purified. The two collided, resulting in earth-shattering explosions. The sinister aura and Thunderfire King of Hell clashed. They held each other for a brief moment before a thunderous column of lightning wrapped in flames pierced through the blood mist. Ah! The blood mist shattered, and a scream rang out. The demonic axe general's form reappeared, but his body was covered in numerous wounds, with traces of thunder and flames still lingering on him. Xiao Yin stood proudly in the sky, surrounded by thunder and flames, overlooking the opponent like a dominant ruler of the heavens. Taking a step forward, he spoke to the demonic axe general. Now, you can take us to see the Lord of the Burial Demon River, right? Below, the demonic axe general was covered in blood, twitching intermittently, with horrifying injuries across his body. It was clear that both lightning and flame powers had a great restraint against the demonic aura. Go! The demonic axe general nodded reluctantly and, with great unwillingness, transformed into a shadow, speeding towards the Burial Demon River below. Follow me. Xiao Yin spoke to Xun'er and Poison Soul Child behind him, and then vanished. Along the way, Xiao Yin also learned some basic information about the demon realm. The demon realm is divided into 3 realms and 2 domains, with countless regions and dimensions beneath them. The Dark Realm, the Netherworld Realm, and the Poison God Realm. The Blood Moon Domain, and the 10,000 Demon Domain. The Dark Realm is ruled by the Demon God Palace, the overlord of the demon realm. It is said that within the palace lies a powerful artifact, the Demon Sword. However, this item is a legend. No one has been able to draw it since ancient times. If someone were to gain its approval, they would become the supreme ruler of the Demon God Palace. The Netherworld Realm, however, is the place of greatest conflict, with countless battles fought. No force comparable to the Poison God Palace or the Demon God Palace has risen to represent the Netherworld Realm. The Poison God Realm is dominated by the Poison God Palace. Currently, Xiao Yin and the others are in the region near the center of the Poison God Palace domain, at the Burial Demon River. Thus, the powers that could stand here are almost at the level of reincarnation stages, so encountering the demonic axe general, whose strength is comparable to the second-tier reincarnation stage, is not surprising. The Blood Moon Domain, ruled by the Blood Sovereign. The 10,000 Demon Domain, ruled by the 10,000 Demon Lord. Meanwhile, beneath the Burial Demon River, there were crimson crystal palaces. These palaces separated the swirling demonic energy in the river, forming a secluded paradise beneath the water. Lord, this is a time of many troubles. That woman you captured a few days ago? Inside a grand and imposing crystal palace, 2 figures sat in silence. One of them was enveloped in a blood-red sinister aura, while the other wore white robes, with a scholarly appearance. Humph! I've already thrown her into the 10,000 Serpents Demon Cavern. If she survives, that's good. If not, it just means the Poison God Palace's Poison Hag wasted her wisdom. The white-robed man coldly snorted, his voice filled with greed. Grumble, the 10,000 Serpents Demon Cavern? But Lord, why did you target this woman? Her strength is not even that of a Doe Emperor. Isn't that too cruel? The Blood Mist figure hastily asked. What do you know? The Poison God Palace's poison body is fully matured. Even the demons at the heart of the demon realm fear it greatly. The energy within this woman's body, it bears a striking resemblance to that of the poison body. If I can trigger her poison body, I can recommend her to the Poison God Palace, and then the entire Poison God Palace will be mine. Ha ha ha. The demonic aura is thick. Just below the Burial Demon River, thick, viscous demonic energy surged from the water's surface. A strange and eerie aura vaguely emerged, causing all 3 of them to immediately circulate their internal energy to resist the demonic energy's assault. Without the protection of powerful strength, it would be easy to get lost in this sea of demonic energy. Stop trying to be mysterious. Xiao Yan's group quickly caught up with the weakened demon axe general, following closely behind and coldly speaking. Yes, yes, yes. The demon axe general gritted his teeth, not daring to think of anything else, and could only slowly lead them deeper into the Burial Demon River. Half an hour later, the void ahead suddenly twisted. Crystal-like, magnificent palaces appeared below, and an invisible, horrifying aura emanated from the palaces, sending chills down their spines. The demonic energy is overwhelming. Be extra careful, Xiao muttered, his soul power feeling that something was amiss here. It is said that the Lord of the Burial Demon River is a powerhouse who has reached the third-tier reincarnation stage. His strength is terrifying, and with this natural stronghold, even some famous third-tier reincarnation stage demons would have to avoid him, Poison Soul Child said, her gaze fixed on the vast palace below. Brother Xiao, at this moment, Xun'er frowned slightly, clearly sensing a faintly familiar aura from this strange place. They were all from the Do-Chi continent, living in the human realm, and were extremely sensitive to human auras. After all, human auras were distinct from those of the demon realm, making them easy to identify. You noticed it too? Xiao nodded. The palace below was filled with overwhelming demonic energy, and there was also a familiar aura, one that made Xiao feel a sense of recognition. That aura could very well be the one belonging to Little Fairy Doctor. Let's go. They exchanged glances, no longer hesitating. All three activated their intense Do-Chi barriers for protection and headed toward the palace. Poof! At that moment, while Xiao and the others were talking, the Demon Axe General turned into a wisp of demonic energy and surged into the palace, escaping their grasp. At the center of the Crystal Palace, the Demon Axe General, bloodied and disheveled, hurried out from a distance, panic written all over his face. He had known from his fight with Xiao that this person was no ordinary foe. Moreover, judging by his tone, it seemed that he had come specifically for the woman that the River Lord had captured earlier. What is it, Demon Axe? Why are you in such a hurry? A white-clad man slowly smiled from a green stone seat in the center of the hall. His smile radiated a special demonic power, causing a shiver to run down their spines. Master, someone is chasing us, the Demon Axe General said, gritting his teeth. Their target seems to be that woman. I have already been defeated. I couldn't even block 3 moves. The Demon Axe General spoke with regret, though unwilling to admit it, the truth was clear. The Burial Demon River was a chaotic place, and without the protection of the River Lord, they would have long become stray dogs. As long as the River Lord was not defeated, his subordinates were more than willing to follow him. What? The white-clad man shouted, his hand gripping the stone seat's armrest with immense strength, shattering it into dust. His veins bulged in anger. Heh, no need to search anymore. The next moment, blazing firefoxes shot out from the hall's doors, followed by an angry growl. Hand over that woman. As they entered the Crystal Palace, Xiao and the others had encountered some demons along the way, but most of them were minor pests at the 8-star Do-Xian level. They were quickly bypassed, and using the residual aura of the Demon Axe General, they successfully tracked down the heart of the palace. Poison God Palace, Poison Hag, and Poison Soul Child. Xiao sneered, his eyes narrowing as he looked at the 3 imposing figures before him. So you're still alive. Looks like the Grand Sin Division isn't as efficient as I thought. The white-clad man, seeing the 3 of them, showed no signs of fear. He slowly stood up from the stone seat. Red demonic energy coiled around him, thick and viscous enough to suffocate anyone present. So you conspired with the Grand Sin Division to hunt me down? Poison Soul Child coldly snarled. Poison mist swirled around her, and the scene became unnervingly horrifying. Let me handle this, Xiao intervened, stopping Poison Soul Child. The Poison Soul Child's hidden illness had not healed, and the man before them had truly reached the 3rd-tier reincarnation stage. Any mistake here could lead to disastrous consequences, and Xiao was not willing to risk that outcome. How bold, the white-clad man sneered, his body surrounded by pulsing blood-colored bubbles that sent shivers of terror through everyone present. Step back. Fire, Xiao said, his expression grave as he stared at the white-clad man. The demonic energy and strength around the man were enough to force Xiao to go all out. At the same time, a powerful and eerie black aura spread above the white-robed man's head. When this force appeared, the artifact bracelet on Xun'er's palm buzzed loudly. After the events on Phoenix Island, the 5-legged golden crow had returned to the artifact bracelet to rest. One reason was to regain its strength, and the other was to help train Xun'er. so that she could fully comprehend the reincarnation seal in the future. Therefore, in its dormant state, the artifact bracelet appeared just like an ordinary bracelet. However, now that it was releasing such intense waves of heat, it was clear that it had summoned something else. Brother Xiao, be careful. This guy's aura is very strange, Xun'er warned, and moments later, golden flames slowly surged out, sealing the entire palace space. I don't have the time to waste here with you. Xiao voice was cold and decisive. Tell me where that woman is, or else you'll die. Xiao, enveloped in flames, disregarded the swirling power surrounding the white-robed man. Step by step, he advanced toward him, his tone indifferent, like a ruthless devil prepared for slaughter. Despite Xiao cultivation being at the first reincarnation stage, his actions still made the white-robed man, who was at the third reincarnation stage, visibly move. Snake demons dance. The white-robed man grinned eerily, and countless demonic energies transformed before everyone's eyes into twisting demonic snakes, their fangs bared as they writhed and slithered. Xun'er, these demonic snakes contained deadly poison. Be careful. Poison Soul Child immediately warned upon seeing the faint green mist emerging from the snakes' mouths. Undying Netherworld Sparrow. A soft voice echoed, and the two figures instantly merged into one, launching into an intense battle. However, behind it all, an extremely subtle and ambiguous aura emerged. This aura was strangely elusive, neither fully demonic nor ghostly, leaving an enigmatic impression.